Hello, people of the internet. Yesterday, we worked on downloading RPM packages from Pulp, signing them, and uploading them back to Pulp. We are way too far from finishing this feature, but we cannot continue on it right now, or maybe not even today, because we need to pivot. We discovered a more pressing issue. We talked with Dennis from Pulp, and he's going to code some feature for us in Copr. And together we discovered that the Copr development environment is like completely broken because there is no CI for it, and nobody tried to build it from scratch recently, so it doesn't work. It appeared it is completely broken, but in the end there may be there are two kinds of issues, I think. One related to recent authentication change that happened in Copr, and the second one, I think it is related to the way RPM packages are creating users now, which doesn't use scriptlets but a new sysuser.conf whatever file. So what are we going to do today is make sure the development environment works. Now, we have all kinds of code changes from yesterday. I'm going to just mark all of those as work in progress, and we are on the Pulp resign a branch. So I'm going to just make a note in my org agenda that the work on my task is being done in this branch. I'm doing this off screen because I don't want to show you my whole agenda. Okay, so I noted that, so I will now remember where the work is being done, because I have a lot of branches here. Now we can go back to main, and I would say the most safe option would be deleting the whole environment, or maybe cloning it somewhere else and then building it from scratch there. But I hope we can avoid that. So let's just Docker Compose build everything from scratch. By the way, I don't want to write Docker Compose all the time, so I have an alias called DCO, which is Docker Compose. Okay. So DCO build. Let's build everything. I think this step should be just fine, because Dennis was able to build everything without any issues. The issues started happening once we tried to submit builds and log in and so on. Now, while this is running, maybe I should have done no cache, but I've built this way too far in the past, so I think there won't be any reasonable caches anyway. Yeah, while this is building, we can probably open some Docker files. So this is a backend Docker file that I opened yesterday. Maybe we will need also this git Docker file. And on the right, we have a distgit spec file, Copr distgit spec file, not the distgit itself. And while we are building, we can investigate how does this spec file create our Copr distgit user. Because spoiler alert, the user is created or is going to be created, but its home directory won't be home Copr as you would expect. It will be just slash, like the very root of the file system. Not slash root, but slash. And that, I think, was really weird. So here is some conf directory. Is it? It is. And we have the sys users. But it doesn't, I have no idea what GECOS is. And of course it isn't in line perfectly. Great. So type name ID type name ID. This is the G. This is the whatever acronym this is. And the home directory is dash. And shell is dash. While this is the only user. Okay, so does this have to be dash, or the dash is incorrect and it has to be, oh, okay, we got failure, and it has to be just empty. I don't know. Yeah, we got a failure. And we've had a pull request for that, or at least Dennis was dealing with this as well. And the solution there was to create this manually. But I think this already stems out of the wrong home directory, because this wasn't created. Why? So this is distgit httpd service. So let's do distgit httpd. We will hit the same issue. Okay. I think distgit httpd is being built out of the same container as distgit. And this is, does it say what line it is? Is it 43? Not really. Git config. Oh, this is backend. I'm sorry. Here. Yes, this is correct. So, as you see, if here do we have the user at this point? We should have, because we have DNF installed Copr dist-git. So at that point, we should have our user correctly configured. And just for the giggles, if I do run echo foo and echo no, I'm not the user there. Never mind. I could probably I think it should write the name of the version of the container. I don't know the correct terminology. Nothing? Nothing. So we will be dumber and we will do this and we will do this and we will do what if we do just bash? Will it be a problem or not? Build and we will do upd. Ooh, what did I just do? Oh, I closed my shell accidentally. DCOPS. Do we have dist-git here? Dist-git HTTPD. Dist-git HTTPD. We have created 17 seconds ago and it is running. So if we go here and I will do HTTPD PS AUX, HTTP is running here. I'm not sure if is this the container that we built right now? It should be. So this user is correct. So Copr dist-git, was this the user? No. Copr dist-git was the user here. This is weird. DCOPS grab dist 2 minutes ago. Yeah. Docker exec it bash So after this step, this should have been created. Do we have that? We don't. Okay, good. That would be really weird. Yeah, so not even the Copr dist-git home Copr dist-git directory is created. And do we have the DNF info Copr dist-git package? See, it's installed, and that's the weird thing. It's installed, but the user doesn't exist. So I think it confirms Copr dist-git, and there is user has been no login. So this is completely broken. Oh, Copr is, oh, no login is fine. If I can do SU, then no login is fine. Strange that I cannot even do SU. Anyway, one idea that I have is we are using Fedora 41, and this is very recent change in how users are created. Git blame. This is few months ago. So possibly there was a corner case on Fedora 41, and this actually works only on 42. In production there is Fedora 41, but then it is not a a container, so it may behave differently. And also we have Ansible playbook, which may create the user by itself and don't leave the RPM package to it. So seal build dist git httpd. So we will try Fedora 42. If that works, that would be nice, because we wouldn't have to dive into debugging. I'm not sure if you hear my system sounds. I've been getting a lot of Slack messages. Sorry about that. There is a long-term plan to have a CI for this, because why not? We have a Docker Compose, which should work also in Podman. Maybe let's try to uncomment this. So we can use testing farm. Okay, so this doesn't fix the issue. So we can use testing farm to actually make the compose up, submit a build in it, and if it works, it works. If not, then report it as a failure. Then we would have this working at all times, but nobody got around to doing it actually. So we will take a look at this nonsense. This is config, and this nonsense. This gets his users. Okay, let's search for Fedora rpm sysuser conf. So this is a Fedora change proposal. For which Fedora version? Do you know? Scope, benefits, plan. I don't see any specific Fedora version for when it is supported. We see RPM version here. How to test, and is there how to actually write it? Documentation, sys user support here. Implementation. So this is something that we are seeing in the config that we have in our Git repo. So first of all, I know that mock does this too, and that they had many problems with that because it was hard to do, and they had to do many attempts to do this correctly. So maybe let's check their config file. Use where it would be. Mock spec is here. Sys user. See, modern distributions, Fedora 42 plus actually. So Fedora 42 should have worked for us maybe, because directly into RPM, simply including the mockconf file in a package payload is sufficient. For older, we need scriptlet. So this is what they do, and the mockconf is here. I typoed it, but so they create on the mock group. Okay, so we cannot steal that. Are we definitely on Fedora 42? Let's comment this out. Build up. Fuck. And this is cat etc os release is 42. If we take a look at etc password, we see the same thing. Where is the user home directory? It's this one, right? And it's here. Fuck, we can even see it. It's here. Oh. So we need to change this. We need to change this. Search for home. I would expect this documentation to have how to specify a home directory. Sysuser format. So this is maybe, oh, it's here. Sorry. Home. So there is no dash. This looks like a bug in this file. Yeah, a home directory is here. Sure. One would expect to have a default for the home directory. The home directory for a new system, if omitted, defaults to the root directory. This systemd, nice. I mean, there was a default to create a home directories in /home. Why not just stick to the default and pick the root file system as a new home? That nobody wants that. How does it make sense in any way? Only applies lines of type U, sure. Otherwise left unset, or dash. It's recommended to omit. Sure. We shouldn't specify this for groups and such. That makes sense. All of this makes sense, but the default to root file system, the root of the file system is just bad, I would say. Anyway, we want this to be this. And like this. Now, we need to rebuild the package and try again. Do we have additional repositories here? Base packages, test Z, additional Copr repositories. Yes, Copr dev. So eventually we can build it there, but to not spam the directory, I will try in my first. Anyway, where are we? Git main. So git checkout, fix, docker, compose, checkout B. Now, how do we do this? We prefix the, yeah, like this git. Okay, we usually prefix the commit message with what package was affected. So because we have a monorepo, this git explicitly set home directory for the user. Otherwise, it defaults to the as per this documentation, and we will even quote it because otherwise they won't believe us. Like this. So we have our commit. Now we can go to the dist-git package and tito build source RPM test, and we will build this in Copr. Frostix Copr. Login first. Two 6 2 9 2 5. Direct. Anyway, Copr build, and we will upload the package. So if this builds successfully, we will take the direct link to this and we will try to install it here. Like run dnf e install, install something, the package. We will even delete it here. We cannot comment it out, I think, because there will be syntax error, but we'll delete it here. We will install it here. Maybe let's do it here, so it's just next to it. And if it works, then we know how to set the home directory correctly. That would be amazing. That would mean we have to do the same for backend and other containers, because Dennis, when we tested it on Dennis' system, it failed for backend as well. Starting. Why so slow, Copr? And of course, we don't want to leave the links to the specific packages here, but this is just to confirm it works. After that, we can just return back to this change that we did here and build the package inside a Copr/CoprDev project, and it will be installed automatically. Nice. Something is happening. We will also upgrade all of our containers to Fedora 42. We can do that while waiting. So if we do git grep Fedora 41 in Docker, we can see this. And we can even vc git grep like this, Fedora 41 in all files here, like this. So these are the same occurrences, but I can now jump there. So Fedora 42, Fedora 42, if we, what is Conflux customized Docker file? Oh, this is completely different project, but we can save that. Okay, I refreshed, there is nothing more, just to confirm, nothing more. We have all of our files here. We are now running, nice. So let's commit all of these. Now we want to commit only this change, like this. So this remains uncommitted, and this is what we are committing. Docker upgrade all upgrade containers, development containers to Fedora 42. Like this. We don't have to specify a reason because it's obvious we want to be up to date. Now we successfully built this, and our container is Fedora 42 as established. Here is the RPM that we built, and oops, DNF installed here. This is what we want to do for our testing purposes. DCO build, you can see it is now installing the package that we explicitly wanted to install. And it is built, and we will do up. Now, yes, this still didn't happen. Let's jump back to the container and see the etc password, and the home directory is now set. So it is entirely possible that this would work. DCO build, and it doesn't. It doesn't. So home is empty. is empty. That's great. That's just great. Can we... You cannot SU to a... You cannot SU shell. That let's take a look into, like, this is our distgit that we are testing. This is the new distgit. The old is still running or not? I mean, we have distgit web and distgit, and this is what? It is etc os release. This is still Fedora 41. Does this work? I don't know if this is of the whole system or not. Either way, etc pass wd. See, it has been bash. This is an old instance that worked for me previously. We didn't build it today, but see, it has been bash. So the default shell to no login is also a new invention, it seems. Where is our documentation? Shell. The login shell of the user, if not specified, it will be set to user has been no login, except for root when this will be used. Only applies to you, otherwise left unused. No, okay. So this is the reason. You got to love this. Also, I don't like the weird spaces, but whatever. So, can we just make this space smaller? I'm being triggered by that. So we want bin bash, of course. Bin bash, like this. We will squash that to, we will squash that to this. Explicitly set home directory and shell we will do. Okay, so you can remove this part of the commit, set home directory and shell for the user, and we will also do this, because nobody would believe us otherwise. Like this, and now we can go back here and build a new version of that package. Build, new build. See, this is why I didn't want to build this directly in Copr dev, because there may be 5 iterations of this, who knows. And I don't want all those half-broken packages in the repo. I'm sorry about the noises. My neighbor is doing a reconstruction of their apartment, so it is possible that they will start drilling into the walls and so on. So it may be unfortunate, but we may have to end the recording shortly. We'll see. which is unfortunate because I think we are like moving forward successfully. Copr is a bit slow for some reason. We should probably tell the maintainers. Now, is there something we can do in the meantime? I don't know. This is an awkward part. We need to wait. I could run rebuild of the other containers, but that would just get messy. Let's just wait. It has to be this. What other containers use this? Does it always have to be sysusers.conf? I think not, because mock uses just mock.conf. So I mean, we would have to grab conf from Docker files. That sucks. We can search for conf in spec files, but the spec file doesn't have to mention it, or does it? Spec distgate conf. Yeah, it mentions it. I'm not sure it has to though, because the documentation said if it's in the repository, then it's good enough, and it doesn't have to be specified as source one either. Not sure that I like this very much. Well, we definitely create users for backend, for frontend, and for Kigen as well. So it has to be somewhere. We will do the digging. But yeah, let's wait now. We will probably have to just open all the spec files, search for anything related to user, find the file, how it's named, and then edit it. Running, okay. Previously it took 2 minutes to build, so should be pretty close to finishing right now. Succeeded for rawhide. We need Fedora 42. And of course Fedora 42 is the latest, or the last rather. Nice. This finished. We can copy this. We can let's kill this and copy it again just to be sure. So this is 2FDD. 2FDD. This is the correct one. and we want to build this. The mic is picking up some sounds, so you probably hear that. I'm sorry about that. Now, if we remove this DCO build and up D, jump here, distgate HTTPD. Now we can cut password. Now we have been bashed, so we can dist Copr dist git, right? Who am I? Copr dist git. What's my home directory? It's the correct one. Does it exist? I'm sorry. Does it exist? It doesn't. So this nonsense doesn't create our home directories. Why? Sets to systemd users only sets the home directory in the ATC passwd. To actually create the directory, consider adding a corresponding tmp files defragment. Sure. This is what? This is... So this is the same file, hopefully. What did we needed to add? To actually create, consider a corresponding tmp files defragment. Guys, you should have showed us. The hell I know what kind of... Like, there's hundreds of types. Type. Create a directory. Maybe similar to D will be removed. No. If we search for home, it's recommended typically for home. Subvolume. No. No. Create a user home directory. This is the home directory of the user running the command. Not sure if that's not useful for us, I think, because this is some formatting thing. To be used, I don't know where. So we need to do the directory here. Create and clean up. I'm uneasy about that. Create a directory. Mode and owner shall be adjust if specified. Contents of the directory are subject to time-based cleanup if the H argument is specified. So we need to do this. And we need to do this, right? But I can do this. But tell me, Fedora doesn't say how to do this. Fedora packaging guide lines, user and groups. Dynamic allocation, sure, we have our user. Creation scriptlets, no. See, there is no D record. Nobody wants to do just this. We want the okay, fuck that. We are going to do this by ourselves. So of course this should be a home Copr dist git mode. Yeah, the hell I know. If we do ls ld on my home directory, can you tell me a number? And what's the plus? Home directory permissions. Seven between no, we don't want this. If you don't want to add a group, 755 can read which other users are on. Confused about this. Typically set to XX. This looks more like my system. Let's do 711. I don't really. Should we care? Is the mode default? Yeah, the mode can be default because it's a home directory. User. Copr dist git, Copr dist git, and this will be dash, of course. So the mode is the only one that we don't know. And man ls permit ls command show human double permissions. I never know how to do this. LH I think doesn't work in this situation. We want the numbers. Show number permissions. That's why I don't know this. It's not implemented, probably. Oh, this is brutal. Permissions. I know what the plus is. Man ls launch mode. I stopped caring. I stopped caring. We will do whatever they say is the default. Both work, so uh, 755. Everybody says 755. We will do 755. We'll do it here. I don't know what I did. 755. Okay, nice. I officially stopped caring about this. I don't know if space can be here. And let's do just work in progress. I will write the commit message after. Build. Copy that. New build. Upload. Here. Okay. So if this helps, we need to squash those commits, write a message. What's the time? So we have maybe 30 minutes. So by the way, what is happening in Copr? We have a lot of builds happening. A minute, 17 hours, but those are Firefoxes, LVMs. That looks nice. Nothing is stuck. There is just a lot of builds being done. We can take a look at the detailed view. Oh, there's 20,000. So we have Python rebuild. This one is for us as a benchmark, or maybe a performance stress test for the Copr and Pulp communication. This is done by the Python team on their own. Yeah, there is another Python related, and there is a lot of Python work being done. Nice. We are happy about that. Mass rebuilds are one of the intended use cases of Copr, so all of those are like perfectly valid, and we are happy about that. And like you can see, even though there is like 20,000 builds in the queue, my builds are still being processed fairly quickly. Like we submitted it 3 minutes ago and we are building. These two are waiting, sure, but still starting. I think I'm going to end the recording here. We are at the hour mark. And see what what's happening on Slack, because I have many messages, and then I will either jump back right to this or do a more pressing thing. But this is I would say the most important one, so I'll just reply and do everything else later. So we'll probably continue very soon after this. All right. For the moment, see you. Bye bye.